Hi Stampers, Rose Coleman popping in. I have a video today to share with you on how I made the leprechaun face on my leprechaun card here. This is called punch art and I'm super loving punch art. It is so much fun to do different things with your punches, and we have a brand new punch that was introduced on March 1st called the Story Label Punch. It looks like this, and I'm going to show you what I did with it. Okay, let's get started. I'm just going to move these guys out of the way, and I'm going to show you first what I have for the products to make your leprechaun face. So I have my cardstock out here. This is just scrap cardstock. So I have Call Me Clover, Blushing Bride, Basic Black, Cajun Craze, and a little bit of Granny Apple Green. I also have a 1/4 inch sliver, just a little tiny sliver of Basic Black, okay? And this is just my silicone mat here. So let's get started. I'm going to show you the punches that I used. In the catalog, we're going to use the Cookie Cutter Builder Punch. We are also going to use the 1 3/8 inch Scallop Punch. We are going to use the Balloon Bouquet Punch. And we are going to use, like I said, the Story Label Punch. And I'm going to pull in the Occasions catalog because we are also going to be using the punches from the Bloom by Bloom. It's called the Bitty Blooms Punch Pack. This one down here in the bottom corner of page 25. This is a brand new punch pack that just came out in the Occasions catalog. So let's get started, and I'll show you how I use these punches to create that leprechaun face. Okay, so the first thing I did was I actually was playing with the Story Label Punch first, so I wanted to make that the hat. Okay, so I've got my little 1/4 inch strip of Basic Black, and I'm gonna just add some snail adhesive. I like to put my silicone mat behind so that I protect my grid paper so I don't get glue all over it. So I'm just gonna put this anywhere on the cardstock. I'm just gonna put it across the straight line, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bring in my punch, and I'm going to line it up like this. I just want those 2 bumps to be above the black line, and you'll see why in 1 second. I'm just going to pop that out. This is going to be the hat. So I'm just going to grab my paper snips, and I'm going to trim the bottom portion of this rim here like this. So that is my leprechaun hat. So I'll put that aside for a second. Now what I want to do is I'm going to bring in the Cajun Craze and my 1 1/8 scallop circle. I'm going to punch out one of those, and I'm going to cut it into quarters. So I'll cut it in half first. I'm going to put that one aside for later, and then I need 2 quarters, so I'm just going to cut this in half. Okay, now I'm going to flip my hat over like this, and I'm going to add some snail adhesive to the back, the bottom portion of my hat, and I'm going to come in here and I'm just going to pick up one of those and then pick up the other one, oops, like that. So there, now I've got some red hair, because a lot of leprechauns have red hair. My leprechaun's gonna have red hair, so I've got a little bit of red hair peeking through there. And now I'm ready to do the face. So I'm gonna bring in my Blushing Bride cardstock and my Balloon Bouquet punch. And I want to use the bigger balloon. So I'm putting the punch in from the side here. And then I just want to punch out this one. Okay. And I don't need the little plug portion of the balloon, so I'm going to trim that off with my scissors. And that's going to be his face. Okay, so now what do we need? We also need ears and a nose. So from the balloon pack, from the Occasions catalog, there's 4 stamps when you buy that package. And there's 3 of them are blossoms, like flowers. But the 4th one has a little oval, which can be used as a leaf, and there's also a little circle. So I'm going to use both of those on my card, on my punch art. I'm going to use the little oval. I need 2 of those for his ears. And just put these on my paper here. And then I'm with my black, I'm going to use the same punch, but now I need 2 of the little circles. So pop 2 of those out. 1, 2. So those are going to be his eyes. So this punch was used for the eyes and the ears. And we're done with that. I'm just going to punch these things out, and then I will assemble. The nose. Okay, so for the nose, I wanted it to be a little bit bigger than the eyes. So I pulled in the cookie builder punch, and I'm going to use this size circle. So I'll bring back my Blushing Bride cardstock. I'm going to just put it in here. I just want 1. There we go. There's his nose. And that's it for his face. So we'll go ahead and we'll stick all this stuff down. So I'm going to take the balloon punch. I'll zoom in here a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. And I'm going to turn it over. I'm going to use some Tombow glue. Tombow glue is super, super sticky. And I like to use my silicone mat just in case I make a mess. Hopefully I'm still on the screen here. Yeah. Okay. So what I want to do is I'm going to take this. I'm just going to put a little bit on the sides, just like that. A little tiny bit of Tombow glue. And the Take Your Pick tool is your friend when you're dealing with these little teeny bits. So I'm going to pick one of those up, one of those ears, and I'm going to stick it down on the side like that. And then I'm going to put this one over on this side like that. And then I can flip it over and take a look. Yep, that looks pretty good. Got a little bit of glue oozing out there, but that's okay, it'll dry. I can try to wipe a little bit of it off. That's the beauty of using the silicone mat. When that dries, I can just pick it off. It'll be fine. And my surface won't be sticky. Okay, so let's put the hat on now. So I'm going to use a little bit of Tombow glue and put a little stripe across his forehead. And I'm going to put his hat on, press that down. Now I'm going to come in with the Tombow glue again, and this time I'm going to put the spots where I want to put the eyes. So Tombow glue is super sticky. You don't want to use very much because it is very messy when you get it on your fingers. So I'm going to put, using my Take Your Pick tool, I'm going to put the eyes in place like so, like that. And I'm going to bring in my white Stampin' Chalk marker. I'm going to do a little dot on each of his eyes just to give a little dimension so he looks real. And actually, I have a new one here. Maybe, yeah, this is better. I use the white chalk marker a lot, so I think my other one was running out a bit. Okay, I'm going to let that dry for a second. And the nose, I'm going to stick that on with a mini dimensional. So we have these little mini dimensionals. Love these. I used to have to cut my dimensionals, but these fit perfectly on the little things. So I've got one on my nose here. Just going to peel off that wax. And you can use the Take Your Pick tool for all of these things. The little bits. I'm just using my fingers here now, but yeah, you can use your Take Your Pick tool to pick up all those little bits. All right, so I've got his nose on there. I can get rid of my silicone. I'm pretty much done with that. Let's see. Oh, I'm going to bring in my black marker now. So this is the black marker, and I'm going to use the fine tip, and I'm going to give him a smile. A cute little smile. And I'm going to put a couple of dots to make his eyes look more real, like that. Now, the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to give him a little shamrock on his hat. So to do that, I'm going to bring in I have Granny Apple Green cardstock. I'm going to bring back my cookie cutter builder punch, and I'm going to use the heart. So I need 4 hearts. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. So I got a bit of a mess in my hand, but that's okay. I'm going to just like dump it out on my surface, and then I'll just pick out my hearts. I should have 4. Yes, I do. So I'm just going to get rid of the bits I don't need. There we go. Slide those off to the side. And then for his hat, I want to make a clover with these bits, and I'm also going to do a little stem. So to do the stem, I'm going to bring back this piece of Granny Apple Green, and I'm going to use the circle portion of his head to make, I'm just going to chomp out that part. And then I'm going to come back in with that same piece of cardstock, and I'm going to just do a little sliver like that. Just make that shape. I could fussy cut this with my scissors if I wanted to, but I just want to show you how you can use your punches to make just about anything. So this is way too long, of course, so I just want to make it a little bit shorter. And I'm just going to eyeball it here and make it a little bit smaller. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this onto my leprechaun's hat. So I'm going to put a little dab right here of Tombow glue. I'm going to pick that little stem up. I'm going to put the stem down first. I'm going to press that into the glue like that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little more Tombow glue around the sides. Not a ton, because it is very sticky. And now it's time to apply these little hearts. So I'm going to pick those up and just place them in position here. Sometimes it's helpful to have an extra little paper piercer if you don't want to get your fingers in there, if it's too really small. So I'm using an additional little tool. It can be anything. It could be the back of your pen. It doesn't have to be a paper piercer, but something to help you stick those little hearts down. And I'm just going to turn this a little bit. I'm just putting 4 hearts together. Very easy. Simple process. Whoops. Just being careful, trying not to make a mess with all the Tombow glue. But like I said, Tombow glue is super sticky. I actually think I have a little bit too much on here. There we go. So there's my little clover on his hat. And there's a little tiny bit of glue there. I'm going to remove that. There we go. So there's my little leprechaun face. I'll pick him up and show him to you closer. There he is. So the rest was just putting him onto some dimensionals, and then I popped him up on, and I put him onto one of our stitched ovals, and I stamped the leprechaun, or the clover, and colored it in, and that is my card. So thank you so much for joining me today for a little bit of punch art, and I hope you'll try it, and I hope you'll share with me any projects that you